Hi, I'm Kevin Creighton with AmmoMan.com. Today on the School of Guns, how to clean your Glock 19. I'm here with Jeff Street. Jeff is the owner and chief instructor at Step by Step Gun Training. He's also a certified Glock armorer and a bit of a Glock enthusiast. So Jeff, my first question for you is, how often should people clean a Glock 19? You hear a lot of different opinions on this. How do you see it?
If you're new to the Glock platform, you really should clean it every time you use it, because that's going to help you familiarize yourself with the way everything should look and feel when it's right. And that way, if something isn't right down the road, you're going to be able to repair that probably before you have an actual problem on the range.
And you'll know right away, because the spring should not be in two pieces. You shouldn't see a piece of metal that's got a clean break on it. That sort of thing is going to be real obvious.
Absolutely.
Now, if you're new to the gun, that's how often you should clean it. What if you're more experienced? If you're taking a couple of classes, how often should you clean it down?
Well, not just taken a couple classes, you've had it for years and years.
Right.
Then you're going to get, I do have friends that still clean their Glock every single time. It doesn't hurt anything to keep it clean. It's something you're relying on, so why not clean and lube it every time?
Can you hurt the gun if you clean it too much?
No.
Okay.
Not if you do it properly, which we'll show you how to do that properly.
Okay, Jeff, so after a person is done shooting and they want to go back home and clean their Glock, what are the procedures they should do for unloading it? And we have one here that is unloaded. We both verified it. It's even got a little barrel block in there. So we definitely know it's unloaded. So walk us through it.
First thing, make sure there's no live ammo in the room except for what might possibly be in here. You open up the bag, give it a peekaboo before you ever touch the gun to make sure the muzzle's oriented in a safe direction. Then you're going to remove the magazine if there's a magazine in there. So you push the mag release, pull the magazine out, verify that's empty.
Yep, it's empty.
Now, when I go to touch the firearm, I'm doing this in my bathroom, and I've got a toilet in my bathroom. Got a toilet even if I'm in a hotel room. So I pull the gun out without touching the trigger at all, and I'm pointing at the toilet bowl, so that way, if it were to go off, the bullet would go into the water, slow down some there, hit the porcelain, stop there, break the toilet, which I'm not wanting to do whatsoever.
Right.
I'd have to turn the water valve off so I don't flood the house, and I'd have to call my plumber.
Right.
So I'm highly motivated not to do that.
Sure.
So then I rack the slide 3 times. Of course, I put my finger in the mag well to make sure there's no magazine in there, which I just took out. I rack it 3 times. That way, if I did this out of order and I racked it once, I might see 1 round come out. But if I see another round come out, I probably didn't take the magazine out yet. But after I've racked it 3 times, I'm going to lock the slide open. And if you're someone who has very short thumbs, you may have to turn your body, but you keep the muzzle oriented at the toilet bowl. Okay, so you lock the slide open, then you re-inspect, no magazine, and you put your finger in the chamber to make sure there's no rounds, and you look down through the mag well so you see daylight. So you both visually and tactily check to make sure the firearm is completely unloaded. Now, at the toilet bowl, still pointed at the toilet bowl, with a Glock you do have to depress the trigger in order to take it apart. Any gun I would not take apart with a round in the chamber regardless.
Sure.
So now I'm going to let the slide go forward, and I'm pointing it again at the toilet bowl. I'm going to press the trigger. Then I have to release the tension on the spring, and I pull the slide back just a little bit. It's a tiny little bit, and you feel a little click when you do that. Then it has a release lever here. This is the slide release, and you have to pull it down on both sides at the same exact time, and then let the slide come forward. It comes right off. Then I've got a frame, and I've got the slide. Then the slide, I'm going to take out the recoil spring and the barrel. So we basically have 4 main parts that we're going to clean.
All right, and now let's get to cleaning it.
Okay. We've got the gun taken apart into its 4 main parts: the slide, the recoil spring, the barrel, and the frame. And you take a nylon brush. You could even use a toothbrush if you wanted to, just don't use your toothbrush. And you just knock off as much of the carbon as you can. Just brush. And you want to use a nylon brush. You don't want to use a metal brush of some sort because you're going to scrape things up and tear up your gun on the internals. Do the same thing with the slide. Just brush it off really good. And the barrel. Go ahead and brush it off. Get the majority of that off. If you've got some really hard carbon buildup and you want to get it off of there, I recommend something that doesn't stink like Breakthrough Clean. You spray that on and it has no odor, so it's not, you can do it inside your house and let it soak for a while. Then you go at it with the Q-tips and you just go around and find the dirt. Don't leave big chunks of fur from the Q-tip inside your gun. Once you get that and you see the Q-tips getting dirty here, and you go through a few Q-tips, get it nice and clean, now you're going to need to reassemble your gun and lube your gun. But before you do that, you need to clean the inside of your barrel. And what I recommend for that is a bore snake. Bore snake is, it's got a weight on the end, it's got a string, and then it has this fabric, and it has a bristle brush built right into it. Now this is a metal, but it's a metal that's softer than the metal of your gun, so it will not scratch up your gun. And you don't want to, if you see a little carbon on the feed ramp here or somewhere else, you don't want to take something sharp, some hard piece of metal, and scratch that. These pieces all have a finish on them, and you don't want to ruin that finish. So with the barrel out of the gun, I drop the weight through the barrel, I pull it through, and just pull it through a few times. 2 or 3 times is all it takes. And if you want to check this and see how good a job a bore snake does, you can run a regular old-fashioned patch through your barrel and see that it's not very dirty at all after you've run your bore snake through there. Now you need to lube your Glock. So I have a nice little needle, and I'm just using motor oil, but you can use your favorite gun lube, and you lube the channels. On the barrel, you lube where it locks up, put a ring around the barrel here, and run it over it. And then the frame, the hood of the slide as well, right there where it rubs against the top of the barrel. Then we need to lube the connector, which is right back here. And I put a little drop on the drop safety. Then we go ahead and reassemble the gun, put the barrel back in, put the spring back in, recoil spring, and then we want to put the slide on. And it just has to go to these 2 rails. Some people think they have to start back up here, but you start right here at the rails. So now we have to function test the gun, and we're still going to point the gun at that toilet when we're pressing the trigger. I'm going to go ahead and put a barrel block back in there before I press the trigger. So I'm going to function test the gun now. So the trigger works, slide lock works, and I've got an empty magazine. And put that in, make sure the gun still locks open on the last round, which it does. And our gun is clean. Now we could also put a little bit of lube on the metal parts on the outside, just keep them nice, and then wipe it down with a rag.
Okay, so Jeff, your Glock 19 is now clean. What do you do with it?
Put it back in the bag of the box and lock it back up in your safe.
Like that? Put it away and don't touch it.
That's right. All right. You're ready to use it again.
Now, what if you carry? What do you do then?
Well, if you carry your gun, you're going to get it hot again. You're going to put a 5 round in it. So you're going to aim it back at the toilet again, put a magazine in, you're going to charge the gun, carefully put the gun back into your holster.
Look the gun into your holster. Your holster's on your body as you do this.
You holster very slowly. Then you can, while it's still in the holster, take the magazine back out, top it off, put it back in, you're good to go.
You don't need to take the gun out of the holster. Most holsters are set up that you can hit that magazine release.
Absolutely.
Without
And
moving
if
the gun.
yours isn't set up that way, I recommend you get one that you can.
Right, because the gun is safest when it's in a holster. That's why we carry in a holster. So you want to keep it in there as much as we can. As a friend of ours says, put it away and don't touch it. Jeff, I want to thank you for your help on this. I also want to thank Tradecraft Range for the use of one of their offices. And guys, have fun with your guns, but remember, guns are only fun when you stay safe. We'll see you in the range.